समझ नहीं आ रहा अपने सैलरी इंक्रीमेंट का क्या करूं।
बेटा इतना क्या सोच रहा है? अपने म्यूचुअल फंड्स के एसआईपी का टॉपअप करा ले। दिस इज द राइट टाइम।
क्या? समझ में नहीं आया।
बेटा इतना क्या सोच रहा है? अपने म्यूचुअल फंड्स का एसआईपी टॉपअप करा ले। दिस इज द राइट टाइम।
अब समझा।
Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme related documents carefully.
There's an insult or maybe an abuse that BJP sympathizers on social media used to use when they didn't agree with you. They used to say, go to Pakistan. I'd prefer it witheringly as an insult. If you've noticed, they don't say it any longer. Why? I'll give you one possible reason. About a year ago, after they started abusing Donald Trump, they asked him to go to Pakistan, and much to their horror, he did. He is now the greatest ally of Pakistan. The US and Pakistan are where BJP sympathizers once imagined US and India would be. The latest truce, it now turns out, between Iran and the United States was brokered by Pakistan. And according to Pakistanis, Trump and his allies kept calling up Pakistan and saying, get us out of this mess, broker a truce. So Pakistan isn't just a friend of Donald Trump, it's his essential sounding board, his ally in times of trouble. That's how far things have got. You wouldn't have thought it, would you, right at the beginning? I remember even before Donald Trump won his first term, BJP handles on social media and BJP leaders kept telling us what a wonderful chap Trump was, how good he would be for India. I remember when various BJP leaders in Delhi organized an absentee birthday party for Trump. Yes, really, they cut a cake to wish Donald Trump happy birthday. Though Trump was out on the campaign trail, had no clue who these people were, but they still thought it was important to do it. And after that, BJP social media and BJP leaders began a campaign to say how Trump was a wonderful chap. Poor Hillary Clinton, who is Secretary of State, had actually called out Pakistan on terrorism and had said things like, you can't keep snakes in your backyard, was vilified. She was called like a Muslim extremist supporter. Her aides, one of them was a Muslim, were called prisoners of extremism, etc. It was Trump that we needed. Now, I wondered about this. I wondered what could have caused it. Why would these guys, most of whom had no idea who Trump was 5 years ago and still knew nothing about American politics, why would they go around saying they were Trump supporters, cutting cakes for his birthday? And the answer, if you think about it, is actually very simple. Just as Trump says he wants to make America great again, these guys loved him because he made bigotry respectable again. Bigots try and find other bigots. Some of you will remember that during the campaign, the first time around, Trump actually issued a statement and went on television and said this. He said Donald J. Trump is calling for a ban on all Muslims entering the United States. I mean, it was a difficult ban to impose. And afterwards, when he did become president, he was told he couldn't do it. So he found a way around it. He banned people from various Muslim countries from coming. But essentially, he stuck to that position. He didn't like Muslims. He didn't want Muslims. Muslims should be kept away. For many people who support the Sangh Parivar, this was magic. I mean, can you imagine things that they've always believed but were afraid to say aloud? This guy who was president of the United States was saying them. He was saying he didn't want anything have anything to do with Muslims. I mean, what could be better? So obviously they supported Trump. And then the romance went even further because they invented a great friendship between India and the United States, based apparently on the magic rapport between Narendra Modi and Donald Trump. It's embarrassing now to watch, well, it was embarrassing then, frankly, to watch television anchors talk about how the whole world envied the Trump Modi rapport. Trump once held a door open while Modi could walk in, and people said, oh my God, the whole world is frightened because they know the two of them together will go so far. And so wonderful is Mr. Modi that even the President of the United States holds the door open for him. And from then on, whatever Trump did, he could do no wrong, at least in the minds of these social media guys and in the minds of the pro BJP television channels, i.e., nearly every television channel, which are basically an extension of trolls on social media. Why did they love Trump? It was hard to say because initially, while Trump went along with this anti Muslim stuff, once he got into office, he discovered that many Muslims were actually very rich. And so, forgetting what he'd said to begin with, Trump became pals with people in many Muslim countries. He went and praised many Muslim leaders. He didn't care whether they were despots or whatever. And his family went and did deals in those countries. So Trump got rich, his family got rich, and the anti Muslim rhetoric was softened. But it didn't affect our chaps. They kept saying, friend of India, one of us, etc., etc. Trump lost the election. When he came back again, we heard the same sort of stuff. He and Modi are like brothers. India is going to be a world power. The United States will promote India. The first real shock, I think, came when the whole MAGA crowd turned against them. Now, they had believed, I don't know why, that the bigots on the American right, the MAGA people, would love them because they too were bigots, imagining that there was some kind of camaraderie in bigotry. But the MAGA crowd has actually turned against Hindus. If you see the stuff that's on social media, it's abuse of India, it's abuse of our hygiene, it's abuse of our food, it's abuse of our culture, and a lot of it is abuse, unfortunately, of Hindu gods and Hindu practices. It follows no logic. It's completely unreasonable. But then, when the same crowd attacked Muslims, it was as illogical as bizarre. It surprised our chaps, it surprised our right wingers because they had sort of made this imaginary common cause, not realizing that you can't really make friends with a bigot because if the bigot is against somebody for no logical reason, tomorrow the bigot will be against you. And that's what's happened. Pretty much the things they used to say about Muslims, they're now saying about Hindus. That would have been okay, except that they were now committed to praising Trump. And so the television channels went on and on with their sycophancy, with their claims of a new golden age of India and America. I don't know what Mr. Modi made of it. I don't know what the Foreign Office made of it. As far as I can tell, the Foreign Office tried very hard to distance itself from all this stuff because the External Affairs Ministry, on the whole, knows what's going on and didn't want to become party to this love fest. I also don't think that Prime Minister Modi was that keen on it. I mean, he was happy enough to be called a great leader with who held hands with Donald Trump or whatever, but he's shrewd enough to know that this didn't really make much difference. The real shock for the Trump lovers in India came with Operation Sindoor. Now, the United States has this policy that if somebody attacks your country in a terrorist attack, you go after them, you go to terrorist havens and you bomb them. Yet, when we did exactly that in Operation Sindoor, far from supporting us, Trump sided with Pakistan. When finally the Pakistanis were in real trouble, Trump imposed a ceasefire. We denied he had anything to do with it, but Trump has said it God knows how often, how he stopped the war, how it could have gone nuclear, how he held India back. It was a sign of things to come. When the tariffs were introduced, again we imagined that because of our friendship with America, Trump would spare us. But no, he imposed very high tariffs on India, and once again, Pakistan got the better deal. The Pakistani military chief of staff went to the White House, was praised by Trump, and we realized that the same treatment we thought was only reserved for our leader was going out to every Pakistani general that Trump met. Then, hence the turnaround, hence the TV channels saying that America is not so great, Trump is not so great. But I think by then it was too late. They had already committed what little credibility they had to Donald Trump. They had already sung his praises so much that it was hard to backtrack. And yet they did try to backtrack. That's when he was told to go to Pakistan, advice he didn't need, but advice he seems to have taken. Where does that leave us? Well, I think it leaves us where we should have been. I don't think we should have been fooled by the spectacle of friendship between two great leaders. The interests of nations are not decided on that. They may be temporary aberrations, but essentially foreign policy is about a nation's interests, not palliness or hugs and kisses between leaders. And I think the foreign ministry realized that, held back, and I think India now realizes that yes, India and America is a logical alliance. There are interests in common, and it will happen. Perhaps Trump is an aberration, and we just have to wait the 3 years for him to go. But until he does, we'll have to negotiate that relationship carefully and not blow anything out of the water. Which is why, even during the Iran war, the many people said we should have emerged as the voice of the global south, condemned what was happening. India wisely chose to keep its mouth shut. If we'd got up and said we're on Iran's side, it wouldn't have made any difference to Iran. It would have made a difference to Trump, who would have got even closer to Pakistan, and we would have lost out. So that's the logical conclusion. But what about that love for Trump? What about that early, he's our kind of bigot and we love him too stuff? Well, nothing has come of that. I don't think Trump likes India. He's called us a dead economy. He's complained that we didn't think he should get a Nobel Peace Prize for stopping a war that we were on the verge of winning. He really has no time for us. So, what have we learned? I think what we've learned is that never mistake somebody's bigotry as a sign of support. Just because he's a bigot, just because his supporters are bigots, do not imagine that they will never turn on you. They can, they will, and they have done. Always look at India's interests through a non-political lens. Look at it through a purely realistic lens. Don't let all this Hindu-Muslim stuff blind you. They are not interested in your personal bigotry or your personal rivalries. Great nations pursue their own paths. And Trump has decided at the moment that that path has no room for India, which is fine. But I just wonder if one day we were to pick up all the stuff that our anchors said about Trump and Modi, all the stuff that social media said, and put it out there, how would they react? Would they realize what utter and complete fools they made of themselves? Because essentially, this kind of bigotry, this kind of propaganda, this kind of trolling depends on short memories. They want you to forget what they've said because they may change their minds a few years later, which is exactly what's happened. Will Trump change his mind yet again? Who knows? My guess is that despite all the problems we are now seeing, the ceasefire will sort of hold because Trump is in a bad hole. He needs a way out. The Iranian regime is not going anywhere. The regime change he talked about is not going to happen. The seizing of Iran's nuclear weapons and uranium will probably not happen. In any case, Trump told us several months ago that he destroyed their nuclear program. So what is this about? So Trump will probably hang on some tenuous truce, will keep praising himself and saying that he had a huge military victory. And Pakistan will get even closer and everyone will get even richer. As for us, I think it's best for us to realize we're on our own. We've always been on our own. That's what non-alignment was about. And that is for India the way to go.